This video is very different than what I usually make. Why, you may ask? Well, because of the topic that I'm going to talk about. And before we start with the video, I am going to have to put a warning. Warning, the topic I'm going to be talking about in this video is sensitive. And also I just want to mention I'm only going to be talking about the parents, not the kids. But enough said, let's begin. This topic has been on my mind for the last 4 years. Yeah, I know. Even before social media even had that feature of, oh, if you want to use our platform, you have to show your ID. But back to the point, recently Discord announced that by next month, they're going to be rolling out a new feature that if you want to use their platform, you need to verify your age first. And that got a lot of people pissed. I mean, what the hell? If you want to talk to your friends or use voice chat, now you have to verify your age? Like, really? It got to the point where a lot of people started making videos criticizing Discord or in general moving to TeamSpeak. What's TeamSpeak, you may ask? The original Discord. Back in the day when gamers used to talk to their friends, they had two options: Skype or TeamSpeak. Recently I've been hearing that Reddit is gonna do the same thing, but what got me off guard that over there in the UK, fucking Minecraft has age verification. I find that ridiculous that now every platform is now gonna ask you to verify your age. I won't be surprised that later this year, YouTube and TikTok has the same crap like, oh, you wanna watch that PewDiePie video? You gotta verify your age first. Please show your ID or your passport or date of birth or any documents that have anything related to you. But besides people complaining about social media now having to verify your age, there's one thing that a lot of people seem to forget. And that is, you can thank the UK government for all of this stupid crap. If you don't remember, about a year ago, the UK released a new act called the Online Safety Act. And this act was to prevent kids under the age of 16 to use social media. I just want to get off topic here before I continue. In the middle of making this video and researching for clips and stuff like that, why in the hell does the BBC or whatever the hell that UK news station is called, it's more focusing on corn? I kid you not, I've seen like 3 or 4 videos of like some lady, like the ratings of people going to these websites have gone down. Like, who cares if people go to these websites? What I've seen people more focusing on is on social media. Who cares about these damn websites? Back to the point, this infected a lot of platforms in the UK, from social media to even Wikipedia. Hell, if you want to listen to Spotify, you need to verify your age. And a lot of social medias comply to the British government not to get fined. I mean, props to Reddit for not doing it. I even seen some videos of them like interviewing kids and saying, oh well, how do you feel about the Online Safety Act? I'm just gonna say this, I don't believe these kids. They're probably getting paid to say what they're forced to say, but at the end of the day, they're getting paid. It even got to the point that one of the members of the UK government went to Twitter and said, if you're against the Online Safety Act, you're in the side of the predators. That has to be one of the most stupidest things I have ever seen on Twitter. But let's say like this. Let's say that little Billy is 10 and he's making a video and it's like, down with the Safety Act. So you're telling me that little Billy is in the side of EDP? But yeah, that's basically the recap on why all social medias now these days are basically now having to do the verification is because of the damn UK government with their new laws and all of that stuff. But I'm gonna have to stop here because it's gonna, if I continue talking about this, it's gonna ruin the next segment. So on to the next. You guys remember back in the day that the news used to love taking the piss out of video games in general? The best example that I can show is when the PS Vita was released. For some unknown reason, the news made this console look like it was the worst thing ever made by men because it had an internet connection. Just by watching the video itself, it's just plain out retarded in general. Oh look, the PS Vita is a bad console because you can connect it to the internet. I mean, hello, around this time, the iPhone was a thing, MacBooks were a thing, hell, even Samsung probably had phones at this time. But they never talked about the iPhones, the computers, or anything like that. The other half of the video has like this family where this kid got in trouble for taking their PS Vita to school and showing their friends that, oh look, I can search up hoo-has and all that stuff. Yeah, just by watching the part with the kid and the family, yeah, it looks like this is fake.
Supposed to be made for kids, you shouldn't be able to get access to this stuff.
A Minnesota boy got into trouble when he brought his PlayStation Portable to school.
This is an incident that has opened our eyes.
On a dare, Jeff Harris showed his friends how his PSP could display pictures of naked women.
A whole bunch of pictures went on and then I turned it off like right away.
after I did that.
But besides the news taking the piss out of games in general, now these days they look like they stopped talking about games, but they started talking about social media in general. And the topic that they love to talk about the most are trends. Every now and then when I hear about social media being on the news, it's always some dumb trend that never even existed or is old. The best example I have is something that actually happened recently. 2 to 3 weeks ago, a kid burned himself by putting one of these like little plastic cubes in the microwave. While pulling it out, the thing popped and it burned half of his face. And the news, being the news, blamed social media, saying that do not let your kids do this dangerous social media trend. Hell, there's an interview on YouTube of the parents being interviewed by the news and like, yeah guys, this is a bad trend. Your kids should not be copying stuff off the internet. Now, it's kind of obvious that this was never a trend to begin with. But believe it or not, there's people in the comments section saying, well, it is a trend. It's just depending on your page. Okay, if you want proof that this was never a trend to begin with, I have 2 sources of proof. The first source was me just looking around. I spent almost 2 hours looking around to see is there any proof of these videos existing. Now I just looked at my main account. I got absolutely nothing besides one video of some random Mexican saying, ay guys, no compres esto pa tus niños, lo van a meter en el microwave. Okay, but besides that, I got really nothing else. So what I did was I logged out of my account and looked it up without an account. Probably there was a good chance that I would have probably seen this video. No, I got the same crap again. The same Mexican guy saying, oh, don't buy this. And that's it. There's nothing. Hell, I even looked it up with microwave. I got nothing. Only got the incident with the boy, something from the freaking Zach guy, girls getting her face burned off about a year ago. I only found one video. And believe it or not, this video was only posted 4 days ago. But here's the thing, this news video was uploaded about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Hell, I even looked it up on YouTube and I got nothing. The only thing I got was this squishy video, but it was 3 years ago. I even looked it up in Safari and Safari had nothing. Isn't it weird that I spent at least a couple of hours looking around social media, looking around Google, hell, even YouTube, and I got absolutely nothing? The only thing I get is the incident from the news. Let alone the fact that I found absolutely nothing, well, besides these 2 videos, but besides that, I found absolutely nothing related to this quote-unquote TikTok trend. So let alone the fact that this comment is just absolutely idiotic, we move on to the second source. Now, I looked up 2 of the biggest news accounts on TikTok. But we're not counting this one because he actually talks about real news. The other 2, they talk about anything that's happening on the internet. But here's the thing, what do these 2 creators have in common? Well, for one, they don't have jobs and they rely on TikTok for money. And 2, these 2 people are well known for talking about the most randomest things on TikTok. From Speed getting banned, celebrities saying that there's 6 days left to live. But also, they're well known for talking about trends. From nasty trends to normal trends, they talk about trends here and there. So you're telling me that a trend this dangerous goes under the radar of these 2 creators? Yeah, I highly doubt it. Hell, to show you what a real trend looks like, you guys remember that song about a year ago, the ones like, ay mi gatito meow? Well, if you look up the song, this was an actual trend. Not only the fact that a lot of people were doing it, but even these people as well. So what does that say? Well, it says that this cube trend never fucking existed in the first place, but also the news is full of shit. And also I just want to mention that I don't believe this lady. Why, you may ask? Well, for one main reason. If you watch the news video, it says that one of the kid's friends told him to put this in a microwave because he started an internet trend. Well, 1, we already disproved that this was never a damn trend to begin with. And 2, I think the mom told him to say it. Now, I found this comment that's actually pretty good, that probably has a good point. But besides that, on to the next. About a year ago, the news once again warned a bunch of parents that there's a new, dangerous, viral social media trend. But sadly, a 13-year-old girl will pass away by doing this quote-unquote social media trend. Some of you might be asking, what the hell is this trend even about? Well, I kid you not, the name of this damn trend is called chroming. And no, it has nothing to do with the Chrome platform. But instead, grabbing a can of chemicals, putting it up your nose, and snorting that shit like it was coke. And the news being the news, calling this a dangerous social media trend. Now, I just have one thing to say here, and that is, What the hell? Okay, that cube trend does sound believable, but after what I've shown, it was never a trend. But this? You're telling me that a group of teenagers willingly uploaded themselves snorting chemicals and keeping it in their nose. Yeah, that doesn't really sound like a trend. That sounds like the Suicide Squad. In the video, it says that this trend originally started back in 2023. Well, after looking around, I found absolutely nothing related to this trend, just the news incidents and other people talking about it. And just like the last video, there's people saying in the comments, well, it depends on your For You page. Like I said, I found absolutely nothing on this topic. I was on TikTok, I found nothing. I went to YouTube, I found nothing. I even went to Safari, and guess what? I found nothing. The only thing that came close to finding a video was from the news video, but this was posted about 2 to 3 years ago, so it wasn't the one that I'm talking about right now. But in the middle of looking, there was one question going through my mind. Why did no one re-upload these videos? If this trend was even real to begin with, people would have re-uploaded these videos. If it wasn't possible on YouTube or TikTok, people would have uploaded them onto Reddit or Twitter. So what I did was I went to Twitter and I found nothing. The only thing I found were just paintings, Chrome, and people showing off their nails. So you're telling me that a video of some guy putting chemicals up his nose and snorting it doesn't make it to Twitter? You can automatically tell that that trend is fake to begin with. I'm sorry, but am I missing something here? Is there another social media app, or is there a site of TikTok or something like that and I'm forgetting to check? Because if there's these quote-unquote real dangerous trends that they're going around, how come I'm not able to find anything? If Safari says nothing, it means that this trend never happened to begin with. But besides the news, talking about trends and all that crap, there's another thing that they love to talk about as well. And that is people taking their life because of social media. And throughout the years, I have seen so much stuff on the news from teenagers or kids sadly taking their life because of social media. If it's because of online bullying or sexual harassment. Here's the thing, no one ever thinks of blaming the parents. It's always, oh, the parents are victims and all of that stuff. Yes, they are victims because they lost their kids, but at the same time, don't you think they should be blamed as well? It always boggles my mind that seeing on the news that some kid who took his life because of social media, they never mentioned the parents should be, blamed. But no, it's always blame social media. Hell, what about the people who caused these kids to self-harm? Now, I know some people might say, well, Jesse, probably back in the day it was harder for these people to be fined because of fake accounts, VPNs, IP address change, or whatever. Sure, that's understandable, but we live in a day of age that you can find a song by just humming. So I kind of find it hard to believe that finding these people is difficult to begin with. But back to the point, should the parents be blamed? Yes, and I have 2 good examples to show you. One of these incidents happened about a year ago, while the other one happened back in 2016. Now there's a couple of things that the parents could have done to prevent their kids from getting bullied or harassment. But let's start with the first clip.
13-year-old Jay Taylor loved crafting.
See crochet all over the place. This is beautiful.
It's what drew him to join online groups like Discord to make friends as he struggled with his mental health after COVID.
We knew there were bad people on the internet, period, when we had those conversations.
And you tried to limit it. Oh, yeah. It was locked down.
We did all the things that are available to us, right?
But that didn't stop an online network of extreme predators known as 764 from reaching Jay anyway and allegedly pushing him to do the unthinkable. Take his own life.
They took advantage of Jay's loneliness and his kindness, and then they completely preyed on his insecurity.
After watching that clip, we know that the parent tried their best to protect their kid. Wouldn't it be more easier just to take the device away? Or hell, if he wants to keep the device, just delete the account and the app in general. I mean, if he was getting harassed in different platforms, sure, but the only platform they mention is Discord. But there's another thing that's going through my mind as well. How old was his account? Well, to answer your question, yes, Discord does not let you make an account under the age of 13. I wanted to see was it true, so I tried to make an account by the age of 14 or 13, and when I did, it didn't let me. I just got this pop-up of the app. What confuses me is the parents could have done way more in the beginning to prevent the kid from harming himself. Like for one, they could have just delete Discord or delete his account in general. Or 2, just take away the device instead. Look, this is what they could have done. Delete the account and put the kid into therapy. Get him some help, get the help he needs, and the kid would have been with his parents right now. But instead, the parents did the bare minimum. Some of you might be asking, what else they could have done? What else they could have done? They could have done way more to help their kids. But by the looks of it, they failed him. Hell, they even say it themselves. We failed our son. Yeah, sounds harsh to say, but you did. But instead, they want to blame Discord. Now, I saw some comments under this video of people, blaming the parents, saying that they should be responsible. But some of them say that, oh, well, Discord is not off the hook. Sure, social media can get some of the blame, but most of it should go to the parents. For example, social media gives you a couple of features to do if you don't want to talk to someone. For one, don't answer the message. If you already did, report them or block them. If they're making spam accounts, make your account private. If none of those work, then just delete the account in general and make a new one. And it seems kind of obvious. If your parent sees that you're getting harassed to the point that you want to take your life, delete the account. Now we move on to the second video. Now I am going to have to speed it up because it is kind of long.
David was the target of cyberbullying for months. He was threatened, and it was just devastating to him. We tried to get it to stop, and it was on Instagram, and we even reported it. And we ended up having to change schools to get away from his perpetrators. But David's story really started way before that. He was addicted to social media and online gaming. After a basketball injury, he turned to that in order to fill the void for social networking for him. And over a period of about 8 months, we saw a complete change in his behavior, where he was showing all the signs of compulsive use and a behavioral addiction, where he was lying about completing his homework. He was sneaking around using his devices when he wasn't supposed to. He would get angry and aggressive when we would try to get him to stop. And then there towards the end, he started stealing from us in order to purchase virtual assets to increase his player power through some of these games. And even after he had been medically cleared to go back and play basketball, he no longer wanted to. He preferred to sit behind a screen. And that's when we really knew that we were up against something that we had never experienced before. And we were getting him the mental health supports that he needed. But it wasn't enough, and that's when the cyberbullying started. It was like the match on a bonfire that just exploded in our home.
After watching this clip, there was a couple of thoughts going around my mind and also some questions. Let's start with the first. Did it really take this parent so much time to learn that their kid had an internet addiction? For a good chunk of the video, she was talking about how her kid was changing, having an attitude, started stealing from them, not listening to the parents, and so much more. And not once it went through her mind, hey, wait a minute, our kid is acting a little bit different ever since he started, using social media and playing video games. No, she said that when they started realizing that the kid was acting different was after the doctor said he was able to play sports again, but he didn't want to. And that's when they're like, oh, wait a minute, something's wrong with our kid. So the parents never took that as a bad sign to begin with. I think the kid was 16. But here's the thing. If your kid has never done anything like this and just out of the random, he started doing it, it seems kind of obvious that, hey, wait a minute. He started acting like this ever since he got social media. We should consider talking to him or remove his privileges to have social media. 2, before the kid sadly took his life, she said that the kid had all the mental support he had. In the other half of the video, she mentioned that the school he was going through, everyone was supporting him in that rough time of his life. Well, just like the last parents, they could have done the simplest things to prevent this from getting worse. Let's start at the beginning. After the incident, the kid spent a lot of his time playing and using social media. The first thing that the parents could have done around there is put a limit on how long he can use social media or game. At least 2 hours or 3 hours in the weekend. Because by watching the interview and watching other ones, the kid sounds like he was one of those kids who grew up playing outside, like the good old days. But by the looks of it, they failed to put a limit on how long he can use social media or play games. 2, there's 2 things that the parents could have done to prevent any of this getting worse. For one, talk to him, see what's wrong, find the problem of the issue. If talking to him didn't work and he's still acting the same way, then move on to step 2, take away his devices. The parent says that there was times that he will be using his devices when he wasn't supposed to. Parents said that they had to get him to stop to use his devices, and when they try to get him to stop, he will get a piss. I suppose it never came to the minds of these parents to take away his devices, give him 3 weeks without his device, detox from the internet, get some fresh air, go hang out with your friends in real life. And 3, if he was getting online bullied or being sent threats, the simplest thing to do was just to make your account private. And if somehow that didn't work, the easiest thing to do was just to delete your account and delete social media in general. And after deleting his account, try to limit him as much as possible from social media. It seems kind of obvious at that point. But sadly, after the kid took his life, the mom started an organization to help parents sue social media. Not gonna lie, making an organization to help parents sue social media seems very ridiculous, to be honest. For one, the parents could have prevented so much crap from happening in the beginning. Yes, social media should get the blame, but blaming it in general for everything seems kind of ridiculous. But also, the parents should be blamed. I don't know what the hell do these people think when their kids log on to social media for the first time. Do they think, oh, there's some mod out there who's gonna, protect my kid 24/7 and all of that stuff. And also, I have a feeling that cases like these would double in the near future. And you wanna know why? It's because a lot of kids now these days have iPads. Hell, even before a kid learns how to read or, learns how to talk, they already know how to download apps in the App Store. Now sure, there's nothing wrong with giving a kid an iPad if it's for educational reasons, like educational games, videos and stuff like that. But if the parent just gives them an iPad and unsupervised, then an addiction's gonna start and something like this might happen. But back to the point, should social media be blamed? Yes, but blaming social media in general seems kind of ridiculous. The parents should be blamed as well. For one, why in the hell does your kid want Discord at the age of 9, 8, or 10? Let's be honest here. Discord is not really a great place for a kid to be using, more when they're underage. I mean, by what? Later this year, social media is gonna start requiring people to use their ID to verify their ages? How much you bet there's gonna be dumbass parents out there who are gonna let their kids use an account that has the age of, 30 or 21 because mommy cannot say no to little Billy. And also, before I forget, remember how I mentioned in the last segment of the video that I said that something about the ID verification? Well, around this time when the Online Safety Act first happened, a lot of people were saying that, oh, this is a way for the government to steal your information or stuff like that. Hell, there was one VTuber that said this was a way for people to steal kids' information for human trafficking. Jeez, that's a big stretch, don't you think? But here's the thing, it doesn't matter how much you call these governments out or all that stuff. At the end of the day, because of people like these or people like this letting their kids do dumbass challenges that never existed in the first place, they're gonna say, oh guys, we're doing this because child safety and all of that stuff. But in general, this entire video was just an opinion I had for a really long time. And well, what made the Dragon release was the freaking Discord crap out of anything. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But yeah, that's my opinion on this topic. Yeah, this was a long ass video to make. Hope you hated it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Like this retarded ass video, please put subscribe. And if you like to see more, yeah, I have nothing else, I just made this.